serious.
We could have had the perfect night. Love in the air as I placed your hand into mine. And hearts beating wildly, fueled by the feelings deep inside. And I was wasting my time, 'cause he was on your mind. You had a quick change of heart, so why didn't you tell me how you felt straight from the start? 'Cause now you're not here and slowly my world falls apart. And I fell in love too soon. And I fell in love with you. If I wasn't good enough, would you tell me so? If we're not meant to be, then I need to know. Right now you're the only thing that I really need in my life. So don't say goodbye, yeah. 'Cause you're telling me how we had tried this all once before. Can I win anymore? So why can't you see how I need you more and more every day? Can't believe you walk away. And how far down will I take this pain with me? You'll never see how I'm trying to beg you, please. So don't say goodbye. I need you in my life. So don't say goodbye. If I wasn't good enough, would you tell me so? If we're not meant to be, then I need to know. Right now you're the only thing that I really need in my life. So don't say goodbye. I need you in my life. So don't say goodbye, yeah. If I wasn't good enough, would you tell me so? If we're not meant to be, then I need to know. Right now you're the only thing that I really need in my life. So don't say goodbye. I need you in my life. So don't say goodbye.
Hello, Sage. This is Cody. Or how? Wait a minute. Is my name Cody or Colby? I'm not really sure. So I will, there in fact, internally. Hang on a second. God damn it. I'm trying to. Wait a minute. I think your name might be Sully. I don't fucking know what your goddamn real name is. Alright, give me a call back. Wait a minute. Sage.
What?
I'm sorry. Please don't record this.
I will not record this. I guarantee you I will not be recording this. Let me turn my lights on so I don't get a little bit of shade. There, shade gone. Now, it's not my problem. That's voicemail. That is a voicemail message. And I believe, not too sure, not exactly sure, I believe that all voicemails might be recorded. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Not 100% sure on that. You'll have to get back to me. Okay. We are here. Listen, normally I don't do Thursdays, but I did a Thursday show, and now I'm doing a Friday show. So I normally do Friday shows, but a little gear shifting here. We're gonna go ahead and shift gears in regards to this show, because this is going to be more of a logistics show, call-in show, trucker show, because I found out recently, as of yesterday, well, not just as of yesterday, but prior to that, I thought that this was also a call-in show. So here's the gist. Here's the gist of things. Yesterday, I was in the Discord, and I had somebody come in. Well, Jenny in the Bottle basically came in and was describing a situation to me that was a logistical situation that I was a little shocked when I actually heard the situation. It was a trucker situation. And I thought to myself, not that it's not enjoyable. Also, I got Arc Raider where I finally at least went through the walkthrough, and I'm currently sitting in the base area right now. But where I basically decided to myself, I would be more needed right now, rather than explaining to people who can't get it through their heads that you can't just shoot into a car and it goes against all the policies. For the DHS and immigration and all this other stuff, or arguing tariffs with people that want to just not understand tariffs. I would be better needed in the logistics field, where I can basically explain more of trucking and logistics and stuff like that. And I've been kind of pushing myself this way. It's been a hard transition because to switch over to this, knowing I'm going to lose a lot of subscribers, which I think I'm better with that now, to be completely honest. Because, like I said, kind of watching this is brutal when I watch some of the news in regards to trucking, or I watch some of the aspects of understanding anything that has to do with trucking. So I thought what I basically do is bring news and reaction videos to this genre, in regards from a highly intelligent middle American, rather than, other individuals who I guess now are promoting welfare fraud. Just saying. But I'm at least going to be bringing this to you as a middle American business owner, even though I'm from not even close to middle America. Was never born in middle America. I'm actually up here in Maine. Well, we call it pre-Canada. Hang on. Let's get the party started. Hang on. Hello?
Hey.
What?
You are not Kevin Costner.
Very true. I am not Kevin Costner. This is Sage from Sage Outcast, basically the best logistics show in the world. Well, according to me, which really is all that matters. But what I think we're needing to do here is have some conversations in regards to the realm of trucking, because I am a little bit dumbfounded in regards to some of the things that are happening in the trucking genre, in regards to all logistics, to be honest. Not just the realm of, goodbye, Drudge, not just the realm of like being the truck driver, but understanding logistics, understanding being a business owner, some crazy stuff in regards to OTR, tractor trailers, and things like that. And I also want to talk a little bit in regards to overdimensional freight, RGNs and trailers and stuff like that, because I got a lot of people now that are looking to enter into that realm of specialized equipment, right? So one of the things that you can kind of do in trucking is find a niche, right? So obviously, if you're a door swinger and you're out there just kind of swinging doors, and van freight and stuff like that, you're not really finding a niche in the industry, right? Most truck drivers come into the industry swinging some type of doors, most of them. Either a van or a box truck or something like that, where you're just going to back into a dock and they load the freight on the trailer, with a forklift or hand jacks, things like that. But the issue with that is when there's a lot of people that come into that area of transportation, the van freight type thing, so that one kind of gets filled quick, right? And then a lot of truck drivers wonder why rates are going down and why they're not making as much money as they used to the first thing you need to put together is supply and demand. There's more truck drivers in the industry, as my cat pulls my headset cable. There are more truck drivers in the industry than there was back in the 1980s. So, and there's more freight being, also being moved, which I understand, but there's also more ways to be able to move that freight, right? Everything from tractor trailer to rail to box truck to cargo van. So that kind of drives prices down also. Also, although it's a little bit easier to drive a truck than when I started driving, even before that, it was even harder. I didn't have a GPS. I had a map, right? I didn't have an apartment, a studio, an apartment in the back of my truck. I had a cab over. So I didn't have an automatic. I had, 13 gears to shift and a clutch. So we had to call the receivers to get directions in. And a lot of them had, if you're looking for directions, +3, and then you would write those directions down, right? So there was a lot of things that made it harder in trucking. So as you make it easier in trucking, GPS, automatic transmissions, things like that, a lot more people come in. But some of the things that I have been kind of looking at, where is my other one I just covered? What happened to that video? Some of the things that I've been talking about, I never thought that I would actually hear in trucking, to be completely honest. I just didn't think I would hear it. Oh, there it is, right here. This is the video that I covered.
Just starting off with
Stop, Bobby. Wait. Okay, perfect. So, and I'll get the TikTok thing working tomorrow, I guess. I thought I had it, but I guess I don't have it because I'm going to have to make some changes. I'm going to have to make some changes to TikTok, and I got to figure out how to do it. Anyways, yesterday I had a conversation with some people in the chat that they were reading something that TQL said. TQL sent them a driver instruction form, a driver instruction piece of paper with their load, right? TQL is a freight broker, and they put this information out there, right? So TQL assigned a load to a trucking company that basically took the load. It was a reefer load that they went over there, they loaded the freight, and it was TQL said on the form, on the driver instruction, in big yellow box that said, carrier information, and it said 1, no detention on this load, and 2, the second thing you had to read was the driver was required to count all of the pieces on the trailer and call in to TQL before leaving the shipper. It's pretty simple instructions. Pretty simple instructions, right? Call in to the shipper. So one of the things that they did was when they got there, they were not allowed on the dock to count the pieces. And a lot of places do this, right? They don't let you on the dock. They don't let you see what's going on there. Safety issue. It's like going into a mechanic shop sometimes. You're not allowed in the shop. Things like that, they're just not allowed on the dock. So they cannot load all of the pieces count all the pieces that are going in the trailer. And when you got 53 foot of trailer, you're not going to see what's in the nose. All right? You're just not going to see how if it's on pallets, how many cases are stacked on a pallet. You're just not going to see this stuff. So a lot of drivers will then basically, seal the trailer up, close the door, and they're just going to say, well, it's kind of the shipper's job to know what was loaded on my trailer, which it is. But the problem is when TQL or the broker basically states that you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility before leaving that location to call in and tell us the piece count. That's your responsibility. You now have to call in. So this individual did not do that. And this individual, they were delivering meat. And this individual drove to the delivery. And when they got to the delivery, they were like 100 and I'm just going to use round numbers. They were like 150 items over of some stuff and 50 items short of other stuff. Okay? So whatever happened at the shipper, they loaded 150 cases too many of a specific type of meat product and shorted them 50 pieces of a different type of meat product. I don't know, doesn't matter. Some type of beef, right? So the issue is that now there is a claim. There is a claim from the broker for $15,000 that they are making the trucking company pay for. Okay? So what they're doing is they're holding all of the money that the freight broker owes the carrier for not properly counting the product on the truck or calling in. So it's basically going into collections, and the person back in the Discord handles the collections, and she asked me, what should she, let me run this by you, and she's going over this with me, and I'm kind of explaining to her. I'm like, okay, well, how many? The cases were supposed to be, let's just say 3,000. There was supposed to be 3,000 cases on the truck, right? How many cases were there on the truck? Was there 3,000? Well, according to the manifest, no, I don't care about the manifest. How many actual physical cases were on the truck? Was there 3,000? And her answer was, no, there was more than 3,000. Okay, so there's a mistake. Doesn't matter what the paperwork says. But the problem is that the driver never called. He never, ever called, like the paperwork said to call, TQL, the broker, and said, hey, I don't know how many cases are on the truck because I can't count them. Because they won't let me on the dock to count them, and I can't see how many cases are in the nose of my 53-foot trailer. And I can't just climb over the top of all these boxes to get to the front of the trailer to count these cases. So he never called the broker and said, this is something that we call shipper load and count. Okay? If you are in trucking and you get to a dock and you're supposed to count the cases, but they don't let you on the dock to load the cases, somebody counted those cases other than you. And that would be the shipper. So you would write something on the bills that say, shipper loaded the cases, shipper counted the cases. I forgot to turn my phones on. And then you would call TQL and say, hey, I'm required to call in and give you a piece count and tell you how many pieces are on here. Problem is, I can't do that because they wouldn't let me on the dock. Right? They wouldn't let me on the dock. So I don't have a piece count for you to be able to give you that number. All right, hang on. What is going on here with my... Okay, that's better. All right. That's better. Okay, we're all logged in. I'm finally logged into my phone call. So, I think the thing that confuses me the most is the fact that when you have instructions from a broker or a shipper, and you have specific instructions that you have to follow, that they say, you must do this. My question to you, if you're a truck driver out there or a carrier, do you do that? Like, do you follow the instructions that you're told to follow when there are special instructions for you to follow? I know this sounds crazy. I know this sounds wild. That you would basically say, hey, I see these instructions, and I know you want me to follow these instructions, but you know what? I don't care about your instructions. Is this going to not let me cross-platform? I cannot get this cross-platform, and I've even changed my settings in my Xbox. Okay. I don't understand why you would not do that. And then when a carrier doesn't do that and it goes bad and then they're billed $15,000, they're like, well, wait a minute. How did I know I was supposed to have this many cases? Or why isn't the shipper responsible for this? And I think the problem is the shipper was responsible for it, but you were responsible to do your part before you left. And you technically, you relinquished the responsibility from the shipper to yourself by not doing what you were told to do before leaving. Does that sound weird? I know it sounds weird, right? I'm going to turn the phones on. Let me turn the phones on. I don't know if the police picked up Goldfish yet. I'm hoping they might have as a welfare check situation because, you know, he's kind of losing it. But I'm not exactly sure. Not exactly sure. Anyways, that was one of the reasons that I thought to myself, hey, you know, although it's going to probably, some of you guys might leave, and I understand, some of you, even if you guys want to pull your memberships, I'm cool with that. I get it. It's no big, you know, I understand. But I just felt to myself, I am way, not that I'm not needed in trying to help MAGA understand, you know, logic. But I think I'm more needed in the logistics aspect of the world, in the genre, than the MAGA world right now. Because MAGA's gonna do MAGA stuff, and MAGA's gonna be MAGA. They're gonna do their MAGAing, and there's just nothing you can do to convince them. Like, doesn't matter. Some of them, it doesn't matter what videos you show them. It doesn't matter what evidence you provide to them. It doesn't matter. Like, it truly doesn't matter. Like, I watched something yesterday that law enforcement is trained. They are trained. And it backed up what I said, that not to place yourselves in front of a car. They are trained not to do that. Don't do that. And they are trained that if you can get out of the way of the car, you are not allowed to shoot into the car. And he could easily get out of the way of the car. So now law enforcement people are coming out and saying the exact same thing that I said, but it doesn't matter, right? Like, you're still not going to get some of those guys to believe, like the pilot, you're still not going to get some of those guys to believe that we're actually trained to not put ourselves in those positions. And when we do put ourselves in those positions, we still have to make an attempt to get out of that position. And we can't just use our firearm to get us out of that position, right? So, I don't know. I'm at that point. You just helped change MAGA. They are brainwashed. And so I'm kind of thinking to myself, I've got a lot of truck drivers, and I'm going to start sending this to people. I've got a lot of truck drivers that when I talk to them as an insurance agent, and I'm talking to them about insurance, I'm talking to them about compliance, and I'm talking to them about stuff like that, they really want to learn. Like, these guys want to learn. They want to be better. They want to build their business. They want to build their empire. And I think I enjoy those type of people. They're like, not all of them are going to agree with me, and I get that, but at least they want to learn, right? I think I'm tired of helping people that don't want to learn. And I know it sounds weird. Actually, does that sound weird? I think it sounds a little weird. And I'd rather help people that would want to learn. Because you got a lot of people out there that have, like I said, they might have some intuition, but it's difficult for them to see the big picture. And I don't know. I'm good with it. I'm good with it, right? So this is kind of where the road I'm looking to go down. Plus, I've got some things in the works that I'd like to start doing. And I'd like to build my empire and build my business. And part of that is going to be educating and properly either training, whatever, if that's the term you want to use, logistics people. You know, because remember, logistics ain't going away, bro. It's just not going away. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. But I do have multiple channels going. So I am on Twitch and on YouTube now. But my Twitch, I turned it off for a long time, so I only got like one person over there watching, which is fine because I haven't gone to my Twitch channel in like months. All right. So here's some of the stuff I wanted to kind of cover real quick. Boop, let me bring this over the screen, and I will figure out the TikTok thing today. So when I do my next show, which it might be Saturday morning. I think I might do a show Saturday morning. When I do my next show, I'll have the TikTok thing going. All right. Quick thing of your trucking industry. We're going to kind of go over a little bit of trucking news right now and kind of go over this stuff. And then we're going to talk some reaction videos and things like that. So it looks, some of the markets are heating up in regards to volumes. Now, this is kind of always a week behind. It's always kind of a week behind. So this is going to fall in regards to late December, beginning of the year, holiday type thing. So if you're looking at these numbers here and you're saying, we're going to be booming, let's go. Well, the problem is that we had the holidays, and sometimes you have a lot of trucking capacity goes down because people just take off from Christmas to New Year's. So there's low capacity, and you still have some freight volumes that have to get out because shippers are trying to get stuff off their floors before the end of the year so that they don't have to claim it on their taxes and things like that. So now we're kind of looking at the freight markets over our market. So if it's easier to find a truck, I don't have to pay a lot of money for a truck. If it's hard to find a truck, I have to pay a lot of money for a truck. And that kind of tells you what freight rates are going to kind of be. Flatbed, a lot of stuff is pushing off a flatbed because, and remember, if you're in logistics, you're just getting. I'm going to give you a lot more backstory, a lot more context to everything that's going on. But that's just what it is. So in regards to flatbed, a lot of people will store a lot of their product outside, because it doesn't have to be in the warehouse. It can be outside product, raw materials, things like that. But they want that if you bought something, and you were supposed to take it, a lot of times you're going to have to take that product by the end of the year. They're not just going to let you store your product on their property for years and years and years. So a lot of times we have a push to get product off of their property and into the hands of the receivers at the end of the year. So we're kind of seeing this in regards to a lot of the markets. My opinion is we're seeing a big push for freight because they want it out of their warehouses, off their property, out of their freezers, out of their refrigerators, and they want that to be in the hands of the people that were required to buy it, and so that they're not using the shippers as storage, right? And that's kind of what they did. So I think we're seeing a push in regards to people saying, hey, get this stuff out of here and get this product out of here. And then we're also seeing some of the rates go up because it's harder to find a truck. So reefer, you're looking about $291, flatbed about $262, and van about $240. Now, spot loads. As you can see, some of the volume has come up a little bit, but most of this is based on almost the same amount of volume. That's what the 2025, the year before, and so on and so on. So some volume has come up at the end of the year, like I said, to get stuff off off their property, out of their warehouses. But also there's a capacity crunch because a lot of carriers and truck drivers and stuff are taking off the day, right? They're not going to work over the holiday. A lot of my carriers went home. They just said this year's been kind of a bust, and they're just not coming out until next year. And they went home like second week of December, and they're probably not coming out until next week. They're not coming out until next week. Also, I will be dropping my truck off at the mechanic on Monday, thank God. So I probably won't be doing a show on Monday. That's why I'll do a show tomorrow. Okay, let me see what we got here. Oh, he didn't do any news stories. So that's kind of what's going on with the freight numbers in regards to freight. I believe, my opinion, basically, my educated opinion, my intuition, also based on a little bit of facts, is that we're seeing a push to get freight off of property for end of the year. They're looking to get them off for end of the year, just so you guys know. Just so you guys have an idea. Just the gist of it, basically. All right. Also, you guys would do me a favor, hit the like, share this out. It gets it out in the algorithms. Much appreciated. Okay. Now, we're going to do some reaction videos. Like I said, I really didn't plan. I'll do more planning to do shows during the day. And if you guys are in trucking, join my Discord. because if you want to drop me videos and stuff to do reactions to, you can drop them in the Discord. You can also text them to me. The number's on the screen, which I will turn. Oh, the phones are on. Sonia.
His number, 856-600-4654. Sage Outcast. I have questions.
I'm going to have to clip that and just get rid of the I have questions and just put Sage Outcast. Just so you guys know. Just so you guys know. Because this is the best logistics show ever. Ever. Well, according to me. All right. This is Bobby Load. So he is on YouTube and he is on TikTok. He's definitely bigger on TikTok. I've talked to him on the phone. And he's basically the one that says you should go to TikTok. And I'm like, oh, God, I can't stand TikTok. What are you doing to me? I have spoke to him about having him coming on the show. We can't talk politics because he's a magtard and I'm a libtard, so they don't basically go together. But either way, we can talk. Okay, listen, ECAT, stop grabbing that. Pulling the. Okay, all better. I have a kid. He's going to talk a little bit about this, and it's funny because I hear people talk about this, the broker transparency and the $5 a mile, and all truck drivers should get $5 a mile, and that's what they should be paid, and I think this stuff's funny. I think this is funny. So this was like 7 days ago.
Just starting off with the $5 a mile and the freight broker thing. So right off the bat, they're throwing stuff out there in the forefront.
And a 3% cap fee.
Yeah, and
Yeah, he's on TikTok. So he's on TikTok. So you're going to hear other people talking because he's on TikTok and he's got some callers calling into TikTok.
No, not according to them.
We sound like McGowan right now, dude.
No. I'm just saying it's negotiable.
$1 a mile for company trucks.
But listen,
ma'am, do you know how many companies have gone out since 2020? 88,000.
Yeah, but even that, like, you can't do a cap on a brokerage. You can't do a minimum mile per mile. You just can't do it.
So here's one of the things that they want to do, and I find this kind of funny. So if you fall into this category, I want to kind of explain this to you in regards to the cap on the brokerage. So a lot of... I already got a phone call. Hang on. Stand by.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Let me press 1. I pressed 1. Can you hear me?
Hey, I want to talk to you, Lou.
About what?
I want you to say, tell me yes or no. Are ICE agents police officers?
Are they police officers? No.
They're not police officers. And they don't have police power? Are you saying that?
Do they have police power? No.
Yeah.
No.
They don't have police power?
Nope.
So...
Was that all you needed?
You don't have to stop if they tell you to try to stop your vehicle?
Does an ICE, do you have to stop if they tell you to stop your vehicle?
Yeah, if they surround your vehicle and tell you to stop, should you stop?
Should you stop or do you have to stop? Should you stop? Sure.
Do you have to stop?
Do you have to stop? Depends.
You have to stop, right?
Depends.
And it's in your best interest to stop because they're armed, right?
Sure.
I'm just trying to save a few idiots' lives here.
Well, you're not saving a few idiots' lives. I mean, so you're basically saying... So let me ask a quick question to you then, real quick. Does that give them authorization to shoot you?
If the vehicle makes contact with them...
No.
And they feel like their life is threatened, there's no way to tell how that person feels.
No, actually, you're wrong.
Oh, I'm wrong?
Yes.
Okay. I'm wrong. You can tell how that person feels?
No, the problem is that you are not authorized to shoot anybody for evading. So that's what I asked you. So,
but if the vehicle touches you,
no,
the vehicle's coming towards you,
no,
and you fire.
No, you're making blanket statements.
Okay.
So
if a vehicle's coming towards you, you can defend yourself against it.
The first thing that you have to do is get out of the way. You don't, as a law enforcement officer, we are trained.
If it's possible.
Correct. Yes. But you don't place yourself in a position.
Now, when you was in the Coast Guard, if you felt your life was threatened in any way when you boarded somebody's boat, were you allowed to defend yourself?
Defend myself? Yes.
Yeah. Now, one measure
you're making a blanket statement. You're making a blanket statement.
Above what they're...
You're making a blanket statement. I was not allowed to use lethal force every time. Do you understand that?
Not every time, no.
Okay,
One
so
measure
listen,
above the threat, right?
I don't need to argue with this. So if you're going with the video that we're watching, is that what you're basing it on?
I'm basing it on that woman hit that man in the leg.
So first of all, here's what we have to understand. That officer placed him.
You said he didn't hit her yesterday.
He didn't. So let me. Are you going to let me finish, or do I have to mute this? So that officer improperly placed himself in a position in front of the vehicle, according to law enforcement training.
Okay.
Okay.
So
he also had the opportunity. He also had the opportunity. He also had the opportunity to get out of the way of the vehicle before he even drew his weapon. He could have just took a step to the left and got out of the way of the vehicle. According to the procedures of the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, and law enforcement, he was required to get out of the way of the vehicle before drawing the weapon.
If it was possible.
No, but it was possible.
That's,
No, it was possible because he had the time to draw his He had the time to draw his weapon and point the gun at an angle, take a picture. He walked in front of the vehicle and took a picture of her. He then was able to stop. Hang on. Wait.
What was his authority? He's got the authority.
All right, let's move on. Here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to argue with you when I'm telling you we all made this determination. There was all determined that he had the time to draw his weapon and stand there pointing it at the car. He could have just took one step to the left. And by training, by policy, he is required to. After that, I don't care what you have to say about that incident. Because that's the policy of the DOJ, Department of Homeland Security, and police training. Done. Move on. If you're not, do you see what I'm saying? This is why I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not arguing with dum-dums like this. There's no need to. Okay, let's give him the first shot. The other two shots were murder. So either way, he should go to jail for murder because he took 2 additional shots that he wasn't authorized to take. Those 2 shots were murder. Move on, bro. Move on. Please explain to me those other 2 shots then. The one that he wasn't in front of the car, the one that he shot through the passenger window, and you're not allowed as a police officer to kill someone for evading? This is why I can't do this anymore. This is why I got to go to logistics. Now, dum-dums like this can't comprehend this. They can't comprehend this. You see what I'm saying? Well, he took a shot. Okay, what about the other 2 shots? Well, we're going to throw those out. Well, those were the murderous shots. The 2 shots from the side were the murderous shots. So he murdered her. Let's move on. You know what? One last time, we're going to call him. I want to hear what his response is. Let's ask what his response is. You probably won't answer.
Hello.
Yeah, so let me ask a quick question for you. The 2 shots the 2 shots that were the killing shots from the side window, those were the murder shots, right?
I'm talking about yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. He fired one from
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Hang on. He fired 1 from the front and 2 from the side.
1 from the front, 2 from the side.
So the 2 from the side were murderous shots that he had no need to fire, correct?
What? I'm not sure.
I'm asking you, bro. You called my show. Answer my question. Were those 2 shots? Were those 2 shots? Were those 2 shots the murderous shots that he was unauthorized to fire? All right, figure that out. All right, let's move on to the trucking.
First of all, it's just never going to work. There's too many different. Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. With this dum-dum. All right.
No, that's
no.
So one of the things that there's a push for is there's a push for, you know what's so dumb? Literally, this says the best logistics show ever, and he's calling in on that. I love it, man. I love it. Anyways, So one of the questions in regards to trucking is that they want freight brokers to be capped. That I can only make, I don't remember what it was, 3% of the load or 4% of the load. Let's say 5. That I can only make 5% of the load. I can only make 5% of the load, okay? So let's say a load paid $1,000 from the customer, and I could only make 5%, which is what, $50, and then the carrier would make $950. If I was billing the customer for that load, for that situation. But the problem with that is when it comes to the cost to run a brokerage, when it comes to the time to run a brokerage, 5%, I'm not. If I was only paid 5%, nobody's going to be a freight broker because nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to work for 5%. And I think that the things that a lot of carriers don't understand, which I want to make sure that they do understand, is that as a freight broker, there's no free loads. There's no place that I have to basically that just have a posting from shippers to give me loads. I literally have to do all the cold calling. I literally have to be the one to be on the phone and try to get a customer and try to get an opportunity to quote their freight. And they might already have people quoting their freight, right? Most of them already have people quoting their freight. So a big aspect of that is that time it takes me to basically win a customer could be 6 months, right? So if I'm only making 5%, that's not going to cover the time it took me to win the customer over. It's just not worth it, right? So you're going to have a lot of non-freight brokers. You're going to have a lot of people not doing freight brokerage, or the ones that are doing freight brokerage, they're just not going to care about their job. Like, if I'm only making 5%, why would I care, right? If you're not willing to pay, because, and I hear this all the time, that if you want a better carrier, you need to pay more money. Well, if you want a better freight broker, you need to pay more money, right? I mean, that's an aspect of that also. All right. So this is one of the things that they're talking about.
According to them,
you sound like McGowan right now, dude.
No. I'm just saying it's negotiable.
$1 a mile for company trucks.
But listen,
ma'am, do you know how many companies have gone out since 2020? 88,000.
Yeah, but even that, I don't think it's because of paying. You can't do a cap on a brokerage. You can't do a minimum mile per mile. You just can't do it. First of all, it's just never going to work. There's too many different markets. So already they're coming with 2 or 3 things that are just never going to happen, and they're focusing on those things instead of focusing on other stuff that's really going to help trucking. They're throwing some crazy shit out there that's never going to $5 per mile minimum. Never going to happen ever.
$5 mile per mile. Like some of these, and we have a lot of these trucking advocates, and I'm going to show you some of these trucking advocates. Trust me, you're going to be like, that's a trucking advocate? Yeah, 100%. So a lot of these guys in the trucking industry, they want to pay truck drivers, like owner-operators, $5 a mile minimum. Like, so every mile, it's $5 mile minimum. The problem with that, which a lot of truck drivers don't understand, or some do, is that if you made everything $5 a mile minimum and your cost was $2, I'm just going to use a simple number. Let's say $2.50. Your cost to doing business was $2.50, but everybody had a $5 a mile minimum. What would stop? Everybody's going to go into trucking because you can't fail. Right? Like, you can't fail. You see what I'm saying? $5. I mean, everybody's getting $5. So I'm gonna go buy 10 trucks because I'm gonna go to the bank and say, look, my cost, my profit margin is $2.50, but there's a minimum out there of $5 a mile. Will you loan me the money to buy a truck? And they're gonna be like, yeah. So banks are gonna be like guaranteeing me trucks, guaranteeing me loans, because I mean, as long as I'm, not a fraud or something like that, right? Because I can't fail. I can't fail. There's no failure. And when there's no failure, that means that why wouldn't all of you get your truck driving license? Why wouldn't all of you go out there and buy a hot shot and haul, non-CDL hot shot freight? Why wouldn't you all go out there and buy a box truck? Why wouldn't you all go out there and buy a cargo van? Because if there's minimum rates and it's double what the profit margin is, how could you fail? Right? How could you fail? Again. And what we want is we want some people to fail. I mean, like it or not, I mean, you want some people to fail. Because the ones that fail make the ones that don't fail more valuable. I know it sounds crazy, right? Yeah. The caller was trying to save lives. I get it. You know what? If everybody obeyed the cops, we wouldn't need police. Okay.
You can't go to Buff, Alabama in the middle of nowhere, there's no freight, and expect to get $5 per mile coming out of there. It just, none of this stuff makes sense. So if they focused on the stuff that would actually help trucking, I would agree with you. But they're just so out there, and look what they're doing. They're going out to Washington, D.C., taking pictures of fucking parking signs. They're not going to talk to nobody. None of this is going to happen. Their website is a Word document. Like, right there, I can't take it seriously.
Created by AI.
Horrible AI.
The entire AFART thing was created by AI.
So, like, I understand.
No, it wasn't.
ChatGPT.
It was made by ChatGPT.
No, there was a couple gentlemen that came up with it.
No, but the website was created by ChatGPT. It's just a it's poorly done.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm saying ChatGPT. I mean, it's from the.
So Mr. Rocky, when you got into business in '96, did you start out as an owner operator?
No, I started as a company and ran off and bought my truck when I was broke and shouldn't have.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I even at that time, I don't think the industry would hire you without 2 years in. But yeah, I understand. So can you tell us what made you?
You're looking to get $1.50 a mile. Brokers need to get the F out of trucking. Oh, call in. You can call in. We can talk about that. I'd love to talk about that. You want to call in? You want to dial the number? I mean, I'm not going to hold it against you. We can. That's the type of stuff. These are the conversations I want to talk about there, Gordy. 100%. These are the conversations I want to talk about.
You want to buy a truck?
So, explain to me, like, I don't know if you're in, Gordy, are you a company driver or are you an owner-operator?
Like other drivers just coaxing you into it?
Well, I still want to know what the lady likes, what she likes about AFART, because I still haven't
Well, we've asked her, and she can't tell us specifics.
I'm not here to debate everybody. That's not my lane.
We're not, man. We just want to know what you like and don't like. Like, ma'am, if you went out with Dex.
Oh, good. There you are right there. Hold still. I know.
Papados twice a day when Dexy's in town. What would you have on the menu? Would you have a steak and surf and turf like Dexy, or would you have a salad or a steak? That's what we're asking.
I like the broker transparency part of it.
Okay. She likes broker transparency part. You're an owner. Call. Well, you want to call in? I'll be civil. I know what you meant. Bro. You didn't have to correct it. All right. Let me see if this is him.
Okay, Democrat.
Hey, I'm looking for truckers today, brother. I'm looking for truckers. So if you're calling in, I'm only looking for truckers. Oh, well, not just truckers. You can be a broker. You can be logistics. Something in the logistics field today. Just something in the logistics field.
Hey, well, doesn't New Jersey do that? And
so Gordy can call in.
Certain states do that already.
You know what I liked? I'll tell you what.
Oh, broker transparency. She's looking for broker transparency. So here's the other thing that they a big push is for, and stuff that I want to. It's always a big topic, right? It's always a big topic. Is broker transparency. So according to a regulation, and I'm not going to get into the code because that gets boring, but according to a regulation, all parties involved in the transaction of shipping, in the logistical transaction, get to see the price. It's basically, that's in there. Now, because it's a regulation, regulations can be waived. Hours of service can be waived, but the driver can waive this. So a lot of freight brokers will put in their contracts that you are going to waive your right to transparency so that you can't see what I'm billing the customer. Now, there's some reasons for that, right? For me, people, you have some customers to make you sign NOAs, basically, where I can't relinquish how much I'm billing, how much I'm paying. I can't relinquish any of that money because they also have competition. Snorlord, metal. You know what, Snorlord? Let me drop here. Here's another good guy. Snorlord basically is coming over here. Thank you for coming over here, Snorlord. Hang on. I'll eventually cover some aspects of your show in a nice way. Hang on. Let me find it. I know I'm subscribed to it. There you are. See, it pops right up. Snorlord is in the chat. See, I'm subscribed. Snorlord is also in trucking. He normally does. I thought normally does a show, but if Snorlord, you ever wanted to call in or come in or link in, just let me know. I can bring you in. Oh, that's members. Yeah, is this the right one? Yeah, this is the right one, right? Yeah, this is the right one. But he does lives, I think Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't remember. I thought it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But it looks like it was Thursday. Yes. So thank you for swinging in, Stormlord. All right. Some of the stuff with broker transparency is legit, and I do agree with some of the aspect of it in regards to maybe not the money, the financial portion of it, but it would be nice to see who are the people that are all in some of these this load, right? Because sometimes things are double, triple brokered, and which I don't agree with, or some of them are co-brokered, which is a little bit different, obviously. But broker transparency basically states that everybody that's involved gets to see it. Now, the pushback from the broker is two things. One, well, more than two, but my two things are, one, I sign NOAs, and the NOAs. Basically, I was live Wednesday, but I had to skip today. Okay. I sent an NOA that I can't relinquish any of the pricing that I pay my truck, pay the driver, or that I bill my customer, because they have competition themselves that they're also competing against other manufacturers, and these other manufacturers are watching. They watch load boards. They watch to see what loads get posted for, because when it comes to winning the bid, the transportation of that project plays a big role, right? So when I get a quote from a customer, they're doing two things. The first portion of the quote goes to the manufacturing department, the ones that are actually going to make the product. I do fiberglass and steel tanks. So that goes to the welders and the steel manufacturer that actually make the steel tanks, okay? Not military tanks, but like pressure vessels and things like that. The other portion of the quote goes to the transportation, because you have both the manufacturing and the transportation and then they have to put the quote together, and then they have to submit the quote. Okay? So they don't want anyone else to know what their transportation costs are, just like they don't want them to know what their manufacturing costs are, because they don't want to be undercut by their competitors, because they find out what the transportation is, or they find out what this was. So that's one aspect that I have, right? The other aspect I have is, when it comes to quoting freight, I have intellectual property. Like I quote my own freight. I know what my carriers need. A lot of the times, not all should be 100%, but who gives a fuck? No, it should all be 100%, so not to get F. Gordy, can you call in? Gordy, let me ask a quick question. I'm being honest with you. I'll even let you call in, and you can block your number, or I can give you a link if you'd rather click a link. But are you capable of calling in? Because I'd honestly like to ask you some questions, and I won't even debate back and forth. I just want to ask questions, to be honest. So the other aspect is, I have intellectual property. Okay, now I do overdimensional freight and specialized equipment. That's also what I'm a licensed insurance agent. I sell insurance also, and most of my stuff is I specialize in specialized equipment in insurance also. Step deck, hot shot, double drop, that type of stuff. That's what I want. That's my forte. So let me fix that. I got to start playing this game too, but not today, because I got to get it once I get into the groove of things. So to me, when I quote something, that's my intellectual property, because I'm doing it myself. I can quote something that other brokers can't. Other brokers will have to go out and get 3 quotes. They'll have to get pricing. If a customer calls into me right now, I literally can quote you something over the phone if I had to, just instantly, because I've been quoting overdimensional freight for 17 years, okay? I've been an overdimensional freight broker for 17 years. So I can quote this stuff right off the top of my head. And then if the price works for the customer, I know I can call a trucking company, and if I tell them the price, they'll be like, yeah, I'm on my way. Because I've been doing this long enough to know where my carriers are. So to me, that's intellectual property, okay? Morning, what's going on, brother? That's intellectual property to me. So for me to be able to just say, hey, here's what the second thing, and I love to talk, and Gord, if you do me a favor and tell me why you can't call in, even if it's something that, like, you can't call in today, but you can call in other days, I'd love to at least have, I'd love to have any show. So when it comes to broker transparency, I don't my biggest question I usually talk to carriers about is, what do you think you're going to get by seeing this? And when somebody comes to me and they says, well, I'm kind of worried that it's a fraudulent load or it's been double brokered and nobody knows it, and another, this carrier, this brokerage stole it from another brokerage. That's legit, right? That's legit. We need to fix that problem. If it's just like, well, I want to know how much more money you're going to get, or how much you're effing me, like Gord said. Well, my question is two things. Let's say I had $5,000 in the load, and I was only going to pay you $1,000, okay? And then you find out that there's $5,000 in the load. Do you think the rest of that, and now remember, you took it for $1,000, okay? You took it for $1,000. Do you think that the rest of that money should go to you, or the rest of that money should go back to the shipper? Because I just can't give you, if you took it for $1,000 and I had $5,000 in it, I just can't give you more money. I'm just saying, that would have to go back to the shipper, right? I mean, it can't just go to you. You didn't ask for that much. So how could I basically say, well, the carrier didn't ask for, the carrier only asked for $1,000, but I gave them $4,000 because that's what they deserve. Shouldn't that go back to the shipper? Like, that doesn't mean you're going to get any more money, right? I mean, think about that, right? So it's not like you get any more money. And the shipper's not going to give you more money than you ask for. Like, if you're only asking for $1,000, they're not going to be like, well, listen, we're nice. We're a nice shipper. We feel you deserve more. No, because they have CFOs and they're running their businesses to be as profitable as possible. So this is some of the questions that I kind of want to run by people. So when it comes to broker transparency, there are a lot of other fights that I would be on board with. Broker transparency is one that just doesn't get you anything, even if you get it. Like, even if you get broker transparency, I can play this game all day. Like, I can basically say, okay, I have $5,000 in this load. How much will you do this load for? And you might say $4,000. And I'm like, okay, that's your quote. Let me call someone else. Brokers, do you send back the money? I do. I have, yes. So but that's why I've had my same customer for 15 years. So there are times that I will quote my customer a budgetary quote, which means I could be 6 months out. A budgetary quote of $10,000, okay? And I quote that budgetary quote of $10,000. So let's say, why hide what? I don't like doing this by text. So I'm going to ask you a question, Gordy. Why can't you call in? Why can't you call in? So there might be sometimes that I quote $10,000. Well, when it comes time to move the freight, I might have a truck in the area, and I'm like, hey, how much can you snag this one for? And they might say, well, let's say $8,000. We're going to do it for $8,000. I might give back some money to my shipper because I was able to find a truck in the area. And when I quoted budgetary, that was worst case scenario. Now that I'm actually going to be moving the load next week, I have a truck in the area. I can save them some money. So there are times. I really don't think not one broker sent money back. Yes, they do send money back. And it's called a rebate system. So a lot of freight brokers will do a rebate system based on volume. So they might say, well, if you, based on the amount of volume you give me, we charge 15% plus cost. So if the cost of the truck is $1,000, they're going to charge 15%. Let's use 20. They're going to charge 20% plus the cost of the truck. Okay? But they'll say if your volume goes above this number, we will issue a rebate check, and we're only going to charge you 18% of cost. So that's called a rebate system. So if the customer can give me more volume, I will give them a rebate at the end of the quarter. Okay? That's called a rebate system. Gord? why don't you call in? Don't say anything else. This is the only answer you have to give, Gord. And if there's any other statement that you say, you will legitimately prove why truck drivers have a problem following instructions. The only thing I want out of your mouth is, why can't you call in? That's the only thing I want you to type. Why can't you call in? And if there's anything else other than that you type, that legitimately shows me why truck drivers aren't being paid what you feel you should be getting paid, because you obviously can't follow instructions, which limits some of the money that you will be getting. Is that fair? What makes you a logistics expert being a truck driver? I'm not a truck driver. I have been a truck driver. I've been a truck driver. I've been an owner-operator. I've been a carrier. I've been a freight broker and a licensed insurance agent in commercial trucking. I'm pretty good, right? I have a ton of criteria, and I've been doing it for 20 years. I've been doing it for 20. Yeah, Mike Mechanic. Yeah, Mike, he's in truck. He's a freight broker too. So some do. Now that's more in a van aspect. You're going to see that, like a rebate based on volume in a van aspect. Not so much an oversized freight aspect. You know what I mean? It can, but it's way easier to do in a van. Like you see a lot more brokers that'll do that van, basically. Well, you've been in there the whole time? Because I've been going for an hour. Maybe you should eat more fiber. You should eat more fiber. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. But I appreciate you answering. At least you answered. But we're going to have to get you more fiber. Just so you know. That's why a lot of truck drivers become brokers. There's more money to being a broker. It depends on how you look at it. Is there more money to being a broker? Well, 95% of brokers fail. But is there more money to being a broker? It depends. If you're a one-truck driver, then yes, there's more money. If you become a fleet, if you become multiple trucks, a lot of times the trucking companies that grow their business can become more profitable than freight brokers. Because, like I said, freight brokers, there's like a 90, 95, 98% failure rate. Because you got to go out and you got to earn your own customers, right? But if you're a one-truck driver for 10 years, yeah, a freight broker is going to make more money than you if they're up and running, because you haven't grown your company, right? And that's a big push. Oh, he is huge? Okay. Well, Narc says you're huge, so I believe him. Okay.
I like the raising the bond amount for freight brokers. I like that.
I do. I like raising the bond amount too. So another aspect of this is right now, at one time we needed a $10,000 bond, which was basically proving that we were going to pay our invoices. And then they raised it to $75,000, and I believe $250,000 is a legitimate bond number, to be honest.
I have one question for. Why does it matter what someone else makes?
What do you mean what somebody else makes?
Why does it matter what the broker makes?
It doesn't.
Why do you have to know? Why do you have to know?
I've asked him that question, and he can't tell me.
And why should we not know? I mean, that's
okay, but that's like asking your boss what he makes. That's like asking the CEO, founder of the business, "What do you make, sir?" But you're paying me. You're an employee.
What's the overhead compared to a broker compared to a truck driver? Okay, so I can go over that with you, and you're going to be a little shocked, okay? And I can show you these numbers if you want. So when I had my brokerage that was up and running, so if you were to look at TQL's overhead costs with labor and everything else is way more money than yours. They have a building, they have offices, they have health insurance, they have wages, they have all that money. So if you're looking at a brokerage, they have way more money based on how many people they employ and things like that. The actual individual broker, usually that's a salary, okay? So the problem is when people say broker, if you mean brokerage, a brokerage, like I owned a brokerage, I had salary to pay, I had benefits to pay. I didn't have an office, but I might have an office to pay. I have to pay for each individual access to truck stop and DAT. I had to pay for highway. I had to pay for my insurance is a big one. Like I carried contingent insurance. My contingent insurance was like $28,000. Not my bond, my insurance. So my contingent insurance was $28,000. Now, I had to carry $5,250,000, but that $5,250,000 contingent insurance that I was required to carry by my customer cost me about 20. I want to say 28. I'd have to go pull it, but I think it was down to $25,000 for my contingent insurance with a $5 million auto liability and $250,000 cargo. Okay, highway's about $1,000 a month. I don't know what DAT was because I never had DAT. I had Truck Stop. So Truck Stop is about $125 a month per person. And then you have labor, you have all these costs. So I'm paying my driver insurance is more than your insurance. You're paying what my driving insurance is more than your insurance. I don't know what that means, brother. I don't know what that means. Yeah, which I understand, but I do want you to understand that. Do you think, so my question to you is, do you think that expenses dictate the amount of money I should be billed? Do expenses dictate? So if you're paying more money, does that mean you should be paid more money? Now, to be honest, you do know that you are paid more money, right? Like, I'm not making more than I'm paying the truck driver. I'm not billing $2,000. I'm not making $2,000 when the truck driver's making $1,000. I know you guys think that, but I'm not making that. So I make 18%, just so you know. I'm at 18%, and I've shown my numbers. I've shown my numbers over the years. I'm at 18%. Now, there have been my highest numbers. A book of business was $6.8 million. $6.8 million. I had a trucking company and a brokerage, and I did $6.8 million. Was my busiest year. That was my busiest year, and bro, that was wild. So, but if you look at expenses, like if I were to take your trucking business and put it up against TQL, TQL pays way more money in expenses than you do. They have employees. They have businesses. They have, brick and mortar. They have insurances. They have all this stuff. They make way more money. So if you're just talking about the guy on the phone, you make more money than the guy on the phone. Because the guy on the phone is probably making $30,000. I mean, he's just answering the phone. I mean, that's not the brokerage. Like, that's not even the broker. He's just an answer in the phone. So when people ask me this, then it's very difficult for you it's difficult for me to explain this, because the person you're talking to on the phone is probably, like I said, probably making 30 grand plus benefits. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you can't take his number, but if you take the brokerage, no, the brokerage costs way more to run than your trucking company does. Because they also have insurance. They also have buildings. They have offices. They have labor. They have all these other expenses. So you can't compare. It's apples to oranges. You can't compare, right? There's no way to compare. If you're a single owner operator truck driver, now if you want to compare it to me, the single owner operator brokerage, let's see, 25 for the year, 25 plus 12 for highway, plus another 1,000. I mean, the expenses that I have, but the problem is that it's not solely based on, like, okay, and I've used this example before, okay? If you're a lawyer and you went to college and you paid for your college and you have all these college loans, okay? And you have $100,000 or $200,000 in college debt, okay? And you went to University of Buffalo. And then you went to another guy who basically got a free ride to Harvard. Free ride to Harvard, scored top in his class, but he got a scholarship, or his parents paid for it, or whatever you want to say. All right, he's got this. Do you think the Harvard lawyer, and then he went to Yale, and do you think the Harvard-Yale lawyer, who graduated top in his class, who doesn't have the expenses that the guy who had to pay for it himself, which lawyer do you think should charge more money? should be paid more money? The Harvard Yale lawyer or the University of Buffalo guy? Because if you're going to base it solely on how much the expenses are, then I think that's a bad idea, right? I think that's a bad idea. So and then same thing. If I've got 20 years in overdimensional freight logistics, do you think I should make the same amount of money that somebody who just came into the industry who knows nothing about trucking as a freight broker? I'm thinking that I should get a little bit more money, don't you? I'm kind of probably better at my job, you know what I mean? And things like that. So this is one of the aspects that I want people to understand is that you're not just paid for what your business costs to run. If you're only billing because, hey, this is how much my business costs to run, so I'm going to have to bill this, well, you're overlooking the aspect of knowledge, right? Like, just because if I were to come to you and say, okay, perfect, you have a truck and it costs you this much to run. But if I were to come to you and say, you only have one truck, can you get another truck? Well, no. Can you do drayage? Do you know how to do drayage? No, I do. Do you know how to put something on the rail? How to get that done? No, well, I do. Do you know how to do something for air freight? No, I do. What about ever worked with a freight forwarder? No, I have. So is that knowledge not worth something? Is my ability to bring that value to my customer not worth something? And I think a lot of truck drivers, it's difficult for them to see the logistics through the trucking. And the big picture is the logistics picture. And truck driving is one aspect of logistics. And what I'm trying to do here is basically teach logistics and make truck drivers smarter so that they can build their business and find ways to have multiple streams of revenue so that they don't have to bitch about it. They can make it happen. And of course, also, if Gord needs a source of fiber, we can do a nutrition class also because he's been on the toilet for an hour and a half. So either somebody's going to have to send in some help or he's going to need some fiber, just so you know.
You agreed to work for that price, correct?
So what they came at you?
This isn't NFL where you can just renegotiate all the time.
Are you a driver, ma'am, or owner-operator?
I'm a driver.
Okay, so say you're an owner-operator, right? Just say you own your truck, you're driving. And now all the brokers are going to come at you and be like, you could only have a 3% cap on what you make on your profits. How would you feel? Would you want to even work for 3%?
Well, ma'am, actually what Dave is so mad about is, and Dexy would throw this in his face too, is he would bring up, well, back in the 80s and before the 80s. Sir, did you drive back then? No. Well, how do you know?
You're not blocked.
You know what it was like? Well, people tell me. Okay, well, that's
Adam, you're not blocked.
45 years ago, correct?
Drivers should make a minimum of $175K a year. What are you talking about?
Well, what he's talking about is if you took pay from the 70s from company and you forward it to here to now today, inflation would be around 110, 115,000, which we know it's not going to happen. But back in the 70s, and maybe Mr. Rocky knows a little bit about this as well, sir, the government priced the goods, right? So this is what you hauled for. That's why you had union.
What do I know about logistics? Oh, Adam doesn't know anything about logistics.
Sleepers.
Maybe he does. Call in, Adam.
Trucks, okay. Well, when they deregulated it, this is what you have. It'll never go back to that. It will never go back to that.
Most of these people have no idea what it was like back then.
Exactly.
Hey, Bobby.
Yes.
I've got to run. I've got to go hop on another line.
Yeah, it's very nice to chat with you, ma'am.
All right, thank you for jumping on.
I appreciate you bringing me up.
No problem.
Yeah, have a good night. Happy New Year, ma'am.
You too.
And remember, dinner with Dex.
I've been doing TikTok because there seems to be a lot of people on TikTok that they get fired up about stuff like this.
See you, Papados.
If you want to jump on and talk about this, I'll be more than happy to talk about it, bro. But if you're gonna tell me like regular truck drivers should make $175,000 a year, then I don't know, man.
She didn't answer any questions we asked her, sir. She just came up to
I'm in the chat. You're more than welcome to jump on, bro, and we can discuss this. I have no problem discussing this, dude.
But please continue, Mr. Rocky.
Should owner operators make $175,000 a year? For sure. Owner operators should make more than $125,000 a year.
Well, no.
Your guys claiming they make $500,000 on TikTok, sir, and a broker.
What he's worth. If you have one that don't do shit, that can't show up on time, that can't clean his trailer out before he pulls up to the shipper, that can't do the stuff, doesn't.
No, nobody's blocking you, Adam. Nobody's blocking you here. Mods don't, unless he says something vulgar, don't block anybody.
Communicate with the broker. He's not going to make 175 because he's doing bare minimum. The guy that's doing stuff right
Correct.
Should be making even in this market in 2025.
He's in the comments.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Bring him
saying,
up.
dude. What are you guys
Vince
sleeping?
is in the comments.
So I keep telling him, jump on. He's saying,
Oh,
dude,
that's who you're talking to?
yes. So owner operator.
I just noticed him.
So 350,000 net as an owner operator, bro. I mean.
Oh, he's starting a
I gotta get TikTok working. Which I will do that. What time is it? 9:30. I'll do that today. I'll do that today. I'm gonna get TikTok working because we're probably gonna get some crazies from TikTok. Some guys, well, maybe not crazies. I mean, legitimate logistical people that are kind of crazies, and you're gonna get some strong opinions in regards to trucking from TikTok. But I gotta get this working because for some reason I gotta figure out my cam, which I can. Oh, is this it right here? I know. Oh yeah, this is it right here. Oh, I found it already. I probably can run my Brio cam. Can I run my Brio? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run my Brio on TikTok and my Sony on. All right, we got it. We're gonna have TikTok. Subscribe up, boys. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Subscribe up. If you have to call it out, otherwise I get blocked. You call it a win. Adam, I have no idea what you're talking about. Why don't you, Adam? Let me ask you a quick question. Can you just call into the show? Because I don't understand what you're talking about. To be completely honest. All right. I wanted to play Entree Mike. All right, this is Entree Mike. I've been on his show. He works with me over at Log Rock. He's been there first. But he's going to make some claims here, and I'm going to go push back on some of his claims.
The great freight recession that started in 22 is officially over in 2026.
Stop! Mike, I love you, brother. But it's only been 9 days into 2026, and I don't care what Craig Fuller says, because Craig Fuller has said the great freight recession has been ending for many years now, and he's made this mistake. So before we make blanket statements like it's ending, stand by, Mikey. Stand by, Mike.
And I'm going to show you why 2026 could be the greatest year within the past 3 to 4 years in trucking with data. But we're not going to start off by just me saying it and going over some data with some spot market updates. First, I want you to hear Craig Fuller, CEO and founder of Sonar and Freight Waves, and what he has to say.
Clear looking at the data, there's a lot of reasons to be bullish.
As you can see, Craig Fuller is pretty bullish on the industry. And if you go to his LinkedIn and check out this video, you'll see the first key factor that he pointed out, the Logistics Manager Index, aka the LMI. And what the LMI shows for the past 10 years worth of data, the inventory basically just shows how much inventory that companies have. And right now, within the last 10 years that this has been tracked, we're at a lower point than even COVID. And in
okay, yes, we have a lot. Okay, I just need a freaking green screen. Where's my green screen? We have a lot of people who are basically right now. Can I do custom? No. Oh, I can do a custom. All right, we can do that. We're gonna do that. All right, we got this. I got TikTok, baby. I got TikTok. I'm figuring it out. We're going to apply this one. Mike is making, so yes, there's a lot of inventory is down, but the problem is it's not down. It's down because not a lot of people have money. So there's no need, and remember, it's also down because of tariffs. Like, there's no need for me to bring this stuff in. A lot of people are waiting for tariffs. So I feel that you're going to, before you have, okay. All right, I'm going to have to build this whole thing. Before you have... Here's the thing, Adam. Here's the deal I'm going to make with Adam. Adam, you are going to be the biggest beta if you don't call into the show right now. Because I'm literally calling you out. I'm literally calling you out and saying, call into the show right now, or you, my friend, are the biggest beta. You gonna call in? I'm not gonna block you. Why would I block you? Phone lines are open. Right, Sonia?
His number, 856-600-4654. Sage Outcast. I have questions.
That's fair, right? Because if you're gonna make blanket statements like that, I'm working. Not about to call your show. What day are you off? Are you off tomorrow? I will make a show especially for Adam. Adam Auto 89. Are you off tomorrow? I will literally do the show tomorrow just for you, Adam. Just so you know. So I'm now giving you an opportunity to call into my show when you're not at work to voice your opinions like the man that you are. Right? I know you can do it, brother. I know you're not a keyboard warrior. I'm asking you to call into the show, and I'm giving you an opportunity. What day would you like me to go live, and what time would you like me to go live so that you can call into the show? Bet you don't answer. All right, Mike, what you got? What is this? Oh, I'm not at work yet. Hang on. Oh, hang on a second. All right. Oh, yeah. All right, Mike, play.
2016 before the freight bull market of 2018 that most people remember starting in the summer of 17. I want you to just hold on to the thought that right now inventory is lower than it's ever been in the last 10 years.
With tight capacity.
Oh, God damn it. This is not. Well, maybe this isn't. I'll ask him. I don't think this is Adam. Hang on. Are you Adam?
No.
Damn it. Go ahead, not Adam.
Hey, if you're not gonna play Arc Raiders, could you shut the sound off?
Does that make you feel better? There, it's off.
It would. I appreciate it.
Jesus, Mashevitz.
He's just butthurt. He's not playing right now.
What you talking about today?
I'm talking trucking because this is the best logistics show ever. So I just covered some $5 mile freight.
Shit.
And I called, I'm talking about them basically saying that the trucking recession is over for January, for 2026, even though we're only 9 days in, and I'm pushing back a little bit on that. And then I'm waiting for Adam to call in.
That's dumb.
I'm waiting for Adam to call in, but he doesn't, he's kind of a keyboard warrior, I think. So I don't know if he's going to call in or not. That was what I was talking about.
$5 a mile, huh? Do people not realize, like, you're going to make everything more expensive than it already is? Like, we already could barely afford to buy shit now, especially the poors.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to make them, really not be able to afford anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my operating cost is $1.49.
Yeah.
Why is yours $2.50? Because you don't know business and how to manage your shit or try to keep your costs down?
Yeah. I don't know. And so that was one of them. And we talked a little broker transparency real quick. I'm going to be doing this. This is going to be the show from now on because I've made it. Because earlier on in the show, somebody tried to call in again with the shooting. And I basically explained to them that, training, police training, DOJ policy, DHS policy states that you cannot place yourself in front of the vehicle. And if you can get out of the way of the vehicle in any way, shape, or form, you cannot shoot into a vehicle. And this guy could have easily got out of the way, and the guy still wanted to argue with me. So I basically come to the conclusion that there's no need for me to continue to have those conversations because no matter what I present to them, what I show them, what I bring to them, you could not. It doesn't matter. So I just hang up. I hung up.
Yeah, they can have a thorough investigation. They come out and be like, this officer was found guilty of murder.
Yeah.
He did not follow his training. He did not, do what was properly necessary.
Yeah,
he
so
put himself
I'm
in that
good with
situation, and he's at fault, and they still wouldn't believe it.
So I literally had a
doesn't matter.
Yeah, we had a conversation backstage in Discord in regards to shipper load and count, and now it's going to cost somebody $15,000, and Jenny's trying to get the money back. And literally, there was a driver instruction sheet that said line 2 in yellow that said driver must obey this. It said call TQL. I think you were there. Call TQL before leaving the shipper with the piece count. And the driver did not call with the piece count, and then the piece count was off. And rather than calling and say, hey, this is a shipper load and count, I can't see in the front of my trailer. There's no way for me to count. They wouldn't let me on the dock. What do you want me to do? But I'm not going to be responsible when I can't count the piece. And you told me to.
You got to follow instructions.
Right.
Like, there's a reason they give you a driver instruction sheet. It's you cover your ass.
Right. And he
just
called
every
in.
time.
Yeah.
Especially when you do volume with somebody. If you're doing $30,000, $50,000, $60,000 with TQL on a regular basis, cover your ass every time.
Right. And so that we talked about that because I was a little shocked that somebody wouldn't have at least put TQL under the bus, throw them under the bus saying, hey, I can't go. I can't see what's in my trailer. Do you want them to pull it off and we can recount it? Or do you want me just to leave? Do you want me to write shipper load and count on the bill? Like, how do you want me to proceed? But I can't. And however you want me to proceed, send an email. Whatever he wants to talk. Adam, whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about. I'm cool with that. And then I was playing Mike's video.
You need documentation. You need email from TQL. Like, you need
hey, okay, you call TQL and they tell you what to do. Hey, send me that in an email. I need that in writing so that I clearly understand the instructions that you gave. You have to cover your ass every step of the way or you lose money. You eat that load and you're just shit out of luck.
Right.
And you just move on because you're the one that messed up. And to stop putting all your eggs in one basket to where you're putting yourself at risk hundreds of thousands of dollars doing business with one company. And you're not gonna, do what you need to do and follow their instructions. That's on you. You 100%. Can't blame nobody but yourself.
100%.
It ain't the broker's fault. It ain't the shipper's fault. It's your fault. You didn't follow the instructions.
100%.
Own up, take responsibility, take blame.
True. But and then I was covering Mike's video where he's basically saying that the freight recession's ending. Now I don't think it's ending. I think we're gonna have we had a push to get some stuff off the property, out of the warehouses and stuff before the end of the year, and we had a capacity crunch by people just taking off the whole month of December and probably coming out next week. Like Monday, they'll probably start looking for loads again. But I don't think it was an end of the freight recession because of that. I think we had a bad year and a lot of people.
I'll pull up the load board real quick and just kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, let me play this while you're doing that.
It's not related to high freight demand. Freight demand is off double digits compared to where it was even last January. And it's been really soft. Capacity has been very tight. Freight rejections are above 10%. In fact, they surged above 10% over the course of December and have not fallen back since.
And now here he is talking about the outbound tender rejections that we've been following on this channel. We do this every single week where we follow the trend lines and the data of the freight market to see, are we in a bull market? Are we in a bear market? Are rates going to go up? Are they going to go down? And why? Right? We also cover a little bit of news and politics here and there. But if you pay attention to what he said, capacity is still tight, but it's not due to increased volumes. Right now, volume is lower now than it was last year, but rates are still higher and tender rejections are still higher. We're in a market with low inventory, tight capacity of drivers, which will only get tighter through federal regulation, and rates that are almost 15 to 20% higher than the contract rate for spot rates.
Now, I think what Mike's also missing out is that low inventory is a couple of reasons. So tariffs affect the low inventory aspect of things, right? People are not wanting to order stuff and have it shipped in until they know people are going to pay for it. Also, low inventory means that they don't have it in their warehouses. That doesn't mean that it's not in a bonded warehouse. A bonded warehouse is a warehouse that you have you have not taken possession of it yet. The United States has not taken possession of it yet. So you don't have to pay the tariff until you take possession of it. So it can sit in a bonded warehouse for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and waiting for the Supreme Court to decide on tariffs. And if the Supreme Court comes out and decides that you can't have these tariffs, then they'll pull that stuff out of the bonded warehouse, and then they'll start to shuffle that into their warehouses. But just to look at low inventory and not look at the other context of why we might have some low inventory doesn't kind of give a good trucking picture.
Why this is important, because like I said, once you're over that 10% for tender rejections on the carrier side, that's when the leverage goes to the carriers instead of the brokers and shippers, meaning that they'll have more wiggle room for that rate. They'll be able to negotiate higher prices for freight, making them, of course, more money in the short and medium term. And Craig Fuller does not think this is going to stop anytime soon, and I think this is why.
Expansion in freight demand. That seems pretty obvious to me looking at the LMI data, but also looking at a lot of the economic data. Spot rates have broken out way above contract rates, and this is a...
Yeah, but they've broken out in a specific time frame. They've broken out at end of the year, fourth quarter. And like I explained before, there was a lot of we have not seen an increase in volume. We have not seen an increase of volume. We've seen an increase in rates. That means either a lot of people are going out of business or a lot of people are just deciding to take off the holidays. They went home for Thanksgiving. They're going home for Christmas. They're going home for New Year's, and they're looking to come back out. If this continues on from middle of January to February, then we have something. But the big measurement's going to be mid-January to February, and that is what's going to improve the market.
Warning sign for all shippers. If we continue to see high spot rates, but contract rates not moving very much, which is what the data suggests right now, it means that shippers are in a high-risk position.
And as you can see here, like you said, the spot rates are at 273, contract rates are only at 237, which are going to push the contracts rates up above that, possibly the lock-in contracts at good rates for the carriers to keep that relationship going. Also want to just have a broad spot market update for this video so you guys are kind of getting the full scope.
Adam hasn't called in yet.
Of the entire industry. That 277 that he referred to was mainly made up of dry vans. Let's go over how much flatbeds are making right now. As you can see, flatbed rates are at $2.96 a mile right now, so we're getting close to that $3 a mile. We had cooled off.
Adam, where you at? Gord, did you eat any fiber? Because Gord, you've been on the toilet for an hour and 30 minutes. You need fiber. Call in, Discord.
Pretty sharply, and then we went back. We're pretty close to $3 a mile. So I know flatbed, step decks, RGN, flatbed hot shots are going to be seeing better rates. And then as first quarter is usually a pretty strong quarter. Due to it being more seasonal for reefer.
I mean, I'm not saying anything crazy on the load port to suggest 270 some a mile. So I mean, everything looks slightly up, but nothing's screaming that we're out of a freight recession.
No, and
I
think there was a push.
In the $1.80, $1.90 range, low twos. You get a few, 270, 250, but it's all going to.
Yeah. Adam says, do you really want me to call in like the other guy? Why should I give you free content? I don't need your content. I don't know if you know this or not, but I don't need your content. Do you see what I'm doing here? This is content. And then he says, you're not at my level. That's why I won't talk to you. You were important. I'd talk to you. But you're typing to me. You understand? You're typing to me. That's one form of communication. That's you're talking to me through text. So you're still talking to me. You're literally answering my questions through text. That's a form of communication. But hey, there is.
Listen,
you really want me to call? I don't really want to. I don't.
You don't want to hear your voice. That's what it is.
I really don't follow what's going on with shipping. Well, what's going on in shipping? I really don't care about the subject. Well, Adam, then why are you here? I guess hate watching is just as good as like watching. I still get the view. So I don't know. Like, okay, Adam.
Hey, Adam. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support,
and watching the show.
Thank you for your support, Adam. Keep typing.
Just up until.
Actually, you want to know the truth, Adam? Right now, typing in my chat is better for my algorithms than talking to me on the phone. Because typing in my chat is what drives the algorithms for YouTube. So you're actually doing me a better service by typing than talking. I don't know if you knew that or not.
The right, man. For the past 6 months to a year, I think it's time to go and buy a reefer truck, guys. Seriously, capacity is super tight for them. $320 a mile, basically $319. Like I said, as long as I've been covering the market and I was in the market myself, I cannot remember a time.
You brought up a topic. You brought up the California non-domiciled CDL licenses. That's something you brought up. No one has blocked you.
Where reefer was dominating the market for so long. And then as far as the number of carrier revocations, we're at 1,500 net revocations, meaning that's how many carriers have revoked their authority recently. So we're having this big catalyst in trucking right now because a lot of people are revoking their authority, more so due to just not being able to balance their books, and also probably due to the tightening with federal regulation on domiciled CDLs.
Yeah, Adam. Yes, Adam. You are blocked. Because I'm the owner of the channel, only I can see what you type. No one else can see it. Just me.
English language proficiency. It's just driving a lot of people out of the market, creating more opportunity, and states are only getting tighter. So we got to keep continuing to cover the news. I know, on this channel, historically, we never really talked about political changes, but right now it's affecting trucking really fast. So we got to stay on top of it, and this could be money in the end game.
The fact that you don't even know how YouTube works makes me pretty sure you're not that bright.
And then on the side note, this doesn't really have too much to do with trucking, but it does for business and expansion. The last two Federal Reserve meetings with Jerome Powell, we have lowered interest rates, right? And the more people they lower interest rates, the more businesses.
Adam, you can call in and I'll talk about something you'd like to talk about. Stick around, because unless you're in logistics, you ain't going to get your way.
We're going to get more
confident. Talk about eating crayons and building Legos.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to end up. Actually, I'm going to duck out of here a little bit early today. And I'm going to start to put together my. Here's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start to put together my TikTok channel, because I got the TikTok studio. And yeah, Adam, you can call about tariffs if you'd like. Tariffs is a part of logistics. I'm going to start to put together my TikTok studio so that I can stream to TikTok. And then you guys will be able to hear the TikTok people when they call in, because I think there's going to be a lot of very passionate logistical trucking people on TikTok that we're going to end up talking to, and there'll be a lot of passion over there. So we'll do a call-in show, because Bobby's getting them, and Bobby tells me I need to go over there and get the and do it on TikTok if I want the people to call in. But you can go from there. Yeah, tariffs are fine. Talk about tariffs. Call in. I will stay here if you call in right now and talk about tariffs. JB, I'm kicking you. Go to Discord. Call in right now. I will talk about tariffs if you'd like to call in right now. But you got to call in right now, brother. You got to call in right now, Adam. If you'd like to talk about tariffs. You can't bring up a topic and then be a keyboard warrior and then run away. If you'd like to talk about that, phone line's open just for Adam. And you can call in about tariffs. And I'll take your call. If not, if you put anything else in the chat, we know you can't handle the truth. Again, there you go. Perfect. You brought up tariffs. Yeah, talk about tariffs. I said, okay, let's talk about tariffs. I told you to call in. And then now you can't even call in. So now I gave you a point to talk about. If you can't call in at this point, we know your true colors, brother. Come on. You got this. I have faith in you, brother. I have faith in you. Don't let me down, Adam. Don't be that keyboard warrior. I gave you a topic that you said you would talk about, and now you have an opportunity to call in. It's all this is just the Adam Show. You're welcome to call in, and you're welcome to show us your intelligence. Walk me through it. Teach me a lesson. This is your opportunity. Give you a couple more minutes for Adam to call in. Oh, see how that works, Adam? See how that works, Adam? Well, this is why you get blocked, Adam. This is why you get blocked. So here's what I'm going to do, Adam. Okay, what would you like to talk about, Adam? What would you like to talk about? What would make you call into the show? I will let you call into the show and talk about the topic you would like to talk about. No, Adam, we're not going to talk about it in the chat. You're not talking. Somebody do me a favor and time Adam out. Time him out for 5 minutes because we're not going to talk about it in the chat. He's got to call into the show. He's got to call into the show. Okay, well then call in. Call in about immigration. Call in about immigration. You can still time him out.
I got it.
You could call in. I want to hear what your view on immigration is real quick before I duck out of here. Because the thing is, I don't think you're going to call in. That's the best part. I don't think you'll call in no matter what the topic is. That's the best part. You got 1 minute, Adam. Giving you the chance to be a warrior. I'm giving you a chance to be a patriot and answer the call. Giving you that opportunity. Pick your topic. He's not going to call in. You know what I'm saying? So, waiting for Adam. Waiting for Adam. Adam's a good guy. You got nothing, Adam? You got nothing? Yeah, no free content. Don't do it. Don't call in, Adam. Whatever you do, don't call in. Don't give me free content, brother. Don't give me free content. Please don't call in. All right. Well, we know what Adam's all about now. We know what Adam's all about. All right. That being said, I'm going to duck out of here. I will work on I'll probably be back tomorrow. I will work on my TikTok. Oh, hang on. Oh, this is not Adam. Hang on, code. Hang on, code. God damn it. Calling you back. Finding out if this is Adam.
Hello?
Is this Adam?
Yeah. What's up, bud?
What would you like to talk about?
I don't really care. Whatever.
Okay. You don't want to talk about logistics. What about tariffs?
Tariffs are okay. I think tariffs are a great thing for
Yeah?
our country. It's about time we do what everybody else has been doing to us since the fucking 1940s.
You think that everybody's been paying tariffs since the 1940s?
I mean, we put tariffs in place to help rebuild Europe and Japan, and they never those tariffs never went away, from what I understand.
We put tariffs in place?
They're still to this day. Yeah, we did to help them.
Where did we put them?
Ford was given the chance to own Volkswagen after World War II. We let them keep that shit.
Yeah, so
Volkswagen is one of the biggest car companies on the earth right now.
So have you heard of free trade agreements?
America has been charitable to the entire world.
You, Adam.
And liberals like you.
So have you heard of free trade agreements?
Haters.
Have you heard of free?
You think there's a better place on earth than America?
No.
Why don't you move there?
Go to Germany.
You live in a shithole in New Jersey, from where you're.
No, I live in Maine.
Where I'm calling to right now.
I live in Maine. This is a Google number.
Okay, whatever. It's all liberal garbage.
So, Adam, can I ask you a question, or are you just going to keep talking?
It's just like Virginia, but shittier and colder.
Adam, are you going to ask? Are you going to answer any questions, or are you just going to keep talking?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, you've heard of free trade agreements, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, can you tell me who pays the tariff?
Who pays the tariff? Well, the company ends up having to compete because their prices go up in our country, or either that or our companies no longer are incentivized to send business overseas because it costs them.
Yeah, but again, we're going to try to, you're not answering the question. Who pays the tariff?
Unfair. We can use tariffs.
Who pays the tariff?
To boost our economy.
Adam.
Eventually, the company either takes a loss or the people pay for it. Or it opens the door for new companies to step in place.
Initially,
they don't have to pay tariffs that are from America.
Initially, who
That's what
pays?
We want is, the whole thing is incentivized to keep business in America.
Initially, who
Otherwise,
pays?
if there's nothing going across the border, there's no tariff.
Okay, perfect. Let me ask you a quick question. On this one, because you won't answer the other question. If tariffs bring business in...
I won't answer a question.
If you won't answer any question?
No, I said that's funny. I'll answer any question.
Well, I just asked you who initially pays the tariffs.
I just told you.
No, you didn't.
The customer pays the tariff, or
who's the customer? Who's the customer?
The consumer.
No,
anybody.
That's wrong.
What
that's
country
wrong.
you're from?
That's wrong answer. That's the wrong answer.
Being imported.
That's the wrong answer. That's the wrong answer. You're not even answering. That's the wrong answer.
Well, then what's the answer?
Who initially pays the tariff is the importing company.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you said the customer.
That's what we want.
You
We
said
want
the
the company to pay a fucking fee for using other countries' slave labor and then bringing the products back over. We want that to stop.
We want slave labor. So you are in favor
of... We want a
of
company that's in America to keep the business here.
You want perfect. So next question. Next question. I have another question.
It's
tariffs,
only logical as fuck.
My next question. I have one more question for you. One more question. If tariffs bring back manufacturing, what happens when you lower the tariff?
When you lower the tariff, I'm sure it incentivizes even more. It lowers the prices, so it incentivizes more production and more. Like,
well, why would let me? Okay, maybe you're not understanding. You're not even understanding the question.
For the people we don't want. We don't want.
You're not even understanding the question. If you're gonna listen, if raising tariffs,
we don't want to incentivize.
If raising tariffs bring manufacturing back to the United States, doesn't lowering tariffs allow manufacturing to go back to other countries?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
Perfect. So then why would I build manufacturing? Why would I spend $100 billion in the United States to build manufacturing in the United States for a tariff that can be turned on and turned off tomorrow, which Donald Trump has done things like that?
Well, because that's the thing about anything. They could raise our taxes tomorrow. They could do anything. Nobody... Like that.
So I wouldn't then.
Not, like,
so the answer is I wouldn't.
Not do tariffs.
So the answer is I wouldn't. So the answer is I wouldn't.
Because it could change. You're going to not do business. That's
but I am doing business still. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't spend $100 billion and 10 years before I turn.
It would be like.
Okay, I gotta go. He's obviously not letting me finish the sentence. The answer, obviously, I proved my point, was the fact that they wouldn't. Nobody's going to spend $100 billion for manufacturing for something that can be turned on today and turned off tomorrow, which Donald Trump did. Donald Trump turned on tariffs and 7 days later turned them off. Do you think I'm going to invest $100 billion in that? Of course not. That being out, I'm out of here. Remember, we're doing logistics, best logistics show ever. But of course, we're going to have to weed these people out and eventually kick them out and go from there. That being said, I'm out of here. See ya. Hey, Adam, talk to Cody. Talk to Cody, Adam.
Hello, Sage.
Hello, Adam.
This is Cody. Or how? Wait a minute. Is my name Cody or Colby? I'm not really sure. So I will, there in fact, internally. Hang on a second. God damn it. I'm trying to. Wait a minute. I think your name might be Sully. I don't fucking know what your goddamn real name is. Alright, give me a call back. Wait a minute. Sage. I'm sorry. Please don't